Hey everyone, welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna. I am, of course, your filthy casual host, DylanLasagna, ready to lay the smackdown on the world of the NFL once again as we enter week 2 of the 2022 season. We have finished week 1. It is in the books. All the overreactions by pretty much just about everyone is over and done with. So now it's a new week. We're about to see what all 32 teams are made of now that they've either won their first game or lost their first game. All the players have either had their good or bad performances, and they've gotten that out of the way. So let's see if it was completely justified or total BS going into the second game of 18 going on with week 2. So we're going to be talking about all the games, all the picks here in this particular video. So kicking things off, of course, yesterday we had Thursday Night Football, now exclusive, not on TV, no longer on network TV. No, you gotta pony up, baby. You gotta give up $15 for Prime Video. Yeah, you had to give up $15, 15 ducats to watch this shit on Amazon Prime. Yep, that's the state we're in if you want to watch like almost everything nowadays. So anyway, the Kansas City Chiefs beat the LA Chargers in a honestly tight matchup, 27-24. Justin Herbert had a really good game. He actually took a lot of brutal hits in that game, but the Chiefs scored 19 unanswered points. They even got a pick six on Justin Herbert, which was not his fault. His tight end was pretty tired when they were playing that hurry-up offense, but nonetheless, the Chiefs scored 19 unanswered points. The Chargers couldn't keep up. They tried to make a run at it at the end, but they couldn't recover the onside kick, so they lose 27-24 on Thursday Night Football, only on Amazon Prime Video, nowhere else. Pay that $15, pal, or else you won't get to watch it. So anyway, we get into the Sunday slate of games that are going to happen this weekend. So we get into the early morning portion first. The Miami Dolphins are going to travel to the Baltimore Ravens. Both of these teams won their games last week. Miami hammered Mac Jones and the Patriots, showcasing that new offense led by Tua, Tyreek Hill, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Waddle, that new revamped offensive line. The Baltimore Ravens similarly destroyed the New York Jets, albeit they didn't have Zach Wilson. Lamar Jackson came back healthy. Of course, you have Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay there. Now, of course, it's going to be the quarterback battle of Tua Tagovailoa and Lamar Jackson. And you got to wonder about the Dolphins' offensive line against a resurging Ravens pass rush. I do like the Dolphins in this matchup. I do think there are some things that they can attack against this Ravens secondary. So I'm going to get a little upset early here and go with the Miami Dolphins. Next up, we got the New York Jets going to Cleveland, the land, to take on the Browns. The Jets, as we're still speaking about them, no Zach Wilson. They are still rolling the dice with Joe Flacco, who made too many mistakes out there. He did as much as he could, but just too many mistakes. And the Jets got beaten the pudding out of them. And meanwhile, for the Browns, surprisingly, they got off to a fast start with Jacoby Brissett. But they had to hold off their old buddy, Baker Mayfield. And they actually got a last-second field goal and beat the Panthers and spoiled Baker Mayfield's revenge game in the process. So this was a solid start for them, surprisingly. I thought they were going to lose this game. But no, they actually did. They actually won this game. So can the Browns keep this going? Can they score some of these supposed easy wins early on until they get to the harder portion of their schedule? When that is. So for the Jets, it's all about Joe Flacco. Can he put together an upset? I don't know. I doubt it. So I'm going with the Browns in this one. The Washington Commanders go to the Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions. The Commanders won their first game, albeit they had to rally back because Carson Wentz nearly cost his team the game with 2 bad interceptions, but brought them back to life. With 2 nice touchdowns to Terry McLaurin and their rookie Jahan Dawson, while Trevor Lawrence looked meh in that game. Meanwhile, for the Lions, it was the same story last year in week 1 against the 49ers, only this time it was with the Philadelphia Eagles. They rallied back from a large-ass deficit, only to fall just short. But hey, don't count out this Lions team. They may still be rebuilding, but they got a lot of heart. Now, of course, this is going to be the second iteration of Carson Wentz going up against Jared Goff. I think it is, because the last time I remember them facing off was in 2017. They did not in 2018. Last time they did was in 2017 and 2018. So that's going to be something to watch for. Oh, how interesting. But I do actually like Detroit to win this game. Sure, they're still missing a couple of pieces in this game, but the way they played against the Philadelphia Eagles, the way they made them scared, I like their chances against a Commanders team that nearly gave the game away against another rebuilding team in the Jaguars. So I'm leaning towards the Lions to get their win early in the season. Next up, we got the tied Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So for the Colts last week, they dug themselves into an early hole, 20-3, before they tied the game, and that's pretty much where they left off, a tie. Meanwhile, for the Jaguars, like I said before, a middling performance from Trevor Lawrence. They had a lead on the Commanders, but it slipped away, and they lost that game. So this is a rematch from last year's season finale in Week 18, where the Colts had an opportunity with Carson Wentz, when he was their quarterback at the time, to clinch that last AFC playoff spot. But no, they pretty much shit the bed. They pretty much disappeared, and they were made all elite. Yes, they went full AEW by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they lost out and got eliminated in the process. So this is a must-win game for both quarterbacks. Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence have to prove they can lead their teams to victory. So I do like the Indianapolis Colts in this game, but they gotta get their act together really quick here, because last week's showing was not great. And then in one of the other early game slates, the Tampa Bay Bucks battled the New Orleans Saints in an NFC South showdown, a very critical one, mind you, early in the season. Of course, we know how Tampa Bay with Tom Brady has had their issues with New Orleans the last 2 years. They have yet to win. They have yet to beat the New Orleans Saints in the regular season. I mean, of course, when it mattered most, they did beat New Orleans in the playoffs. So that's something to account for. But anyway, last week, the Bucks defense limited the Cowboys to just 3 points, while the Saints also got a victory by rallying from a 16-point deficit to beat the Atlanta Falcons. So I do like the Tampa Bay Bucks. They got a really strong defense to account for Tom Brady and the Bucks offense. And despite their middling offensive line, it's just a matter of can that offensive line hold off a similarly strong defensive line of the Saints led by Cameron Jordan. So you got to wonder about that. Next up, we go to the Big Apple as the New York Giants host the Carolina Panthers. Both teams are coming off losses. Baker Mayfield's revenge game got spoiled by the Panthers on a last-second field goal. But the Giants actually are coming off a win. They scored an upset win. Sorry about that. Correction. Over the Tennessee Titans, following a gutsy comeback, capped off by a gutsy 2-point conversion. So, of course, Baker Mayfield's looking to bounce back following the turnovers that pretty much put the Panthers in that hole. And meanwhile, for the Giants, of course, you want to have a good game from Daniel Jones and building on that crazy comeback in week 1. And, of course, you're looking for Saquon Barkley to show some consistency and show some consistency in that resurgence that was in week 1. So, although the Giants are showing something here, I do like the Panthers to win in a bounce back game. The New England Patriots go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Patriots, like I said, they looked lost in that game against Miami. They looked outclassed, especially on offense, as they lost 20-7. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, that defense, even though they lost TJ Watt for a couple, and they will for a couple of weeks, they nabbed 4 interceptions off of Joe Burrow. And this is the reigning defending AFC champions, mind you. They grabbed the last second victory in overtime against the Bengals. So for the Patriots, they got to establish a rhythm here. They got to establish some kind of rhythm under Matt Patricia and Joe Judge. Otherwise, Mac Jones is fucked after week 2. Meanwhile, for the Steelers, I mean, you just got to hope that Mitch Trubisky doesn't screw things up. So I do like the Steelers in this spot against a struggling Patriots offense. But again, just hope that Mitch Trubisky continues to, keep the ship steady for a while. Going to the late afternoon slate, of course, we have my San Francisco 49ers having their home opener against the Seattle Seahawks. And oh boy, the 49ers better hope they win this game. Last week was a disaster for them. They played some West Coast Bears football in bear weather. Yes, very rainy weather in Soldier Field, as they got outclassed, outcoached, undisciplined against Justin Fields and the Bears as they lost 19-10. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, they looked inspired. They looked pretty much the opposite of the 49ers on Monday night against the Denver Broncos and their old quarterback, Russell Wilson, as they managed to survive a last-second field goal attempt and the stupidity of Nathaniel Hackett, their head coach, 17-16. So, again, Seattle's entering with all the momentum on their side. And sure, it's only week 1, but they have all the momentum right now. Geno Smith had a surprisingly good performance against Denver on Monday, despite the coldness in the second half. And for the 49ers, they got to have a cleaner game on both sides of the ball. And I do like them in this spot against Seattle in the opener. And yes, it's going to rain again, apparently, on Sunday. But rain or shine, they got to do better. They got to have a cleaner game, much less penalties, better disciplined. And, let's Trey throw the ball, please. Is it that hard? Is it really that hard? So give me the 49ers all day and night. The Atlanta Falcons go to SoFi Stadium to take on the Rams. The Rams got their ass whooped on opening night on their banner night against the Buffalo Bills. For the Atlanta Falcons, yeah, they blew yet another big-ass lead. I mean, what else is new with Atlanta? Like, what else? What else? So, I mean, looking at this Falcons roster, I mean, they managed to get them big against the New Orleans Saints, despite, the short-term roster that is. But, once again, they blew another big lead. That was why they're 0-1. Now, do they stand a chance against an LA Rams team that's probably pissed off? We'll see. Anything can happen in the NFL, but I doubt it in this game. So I'm going with the Rams. The Cincinnati Bengals, coming off that bad game for Joe Burrow, are going to the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry's World, who just lost Dak Prescott for 6 weeks. So Cooper Rush is now at the helm. Jerry Jones is planning to keep him at the helm. Sorry, they're not going to trade for a quarterback. So I do like the Cincinnati Bengals in this spot. They got a revamped offensive line. I would be fearful of the pass rush for the Bengals against the Cowboys pass rush. I mean, I'd be concerned for the Cowboys offensive line against the Bengals pass rush, but I digress. So give me the Bengals in this one. The Houston Texans go to the Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. For the Texans, yes, like I said, they tied. They tied the Indianapolis Colts. It was like nobody wanted to win in that game, but Davis Mills didn't look too bad. So at least you got that out of him. Meanwhile, for the Denver Broncos, well, as I said before, he did not look good in that Monday night game. And Nathaniel Hackett, their head coach, well, he admitted that it was a bad decision. You should have went for it on 4th down. You shouldn't have done it in the first place. So they're looking to rebound from that terrible Monday night game against the Seahawks. So I like Denver. I'd like to go with Denver in this game against the Houston Texans. Then in the Sin City, in Las Vegas, the Raiders host the Arizona Cardinals. Both teams coming off bad losses. The Raiders, they managed to come back against the Chargers, but Derek Carr pretty much put them in that hole in the first place with some bad interceptions, and he got strip sacked by his old teammate Khalil Mack. That pretty much ended their chances at a comeback. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, their life without DeAndre Hopkins for 6 games, pretty much went as well as you expected, as they got hammered by the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes at home, mind you, 44-21. Yikes. 21 of those points, all of them pretty much were garbage time points. So for the Cardinals, you got to wonder, are they going to be able to spread the ball around even against a shreddable Raiders secondary? For the looks of it, they did for like the second half, but that was, again, in garbage time when the Chiefs were starting to pull out starters. So, And then meanwhile for Derek Carr, he has got to take better care of the football, and he's got to be more consistent, because despite Davante Adams' big day on Sunday in LA, Derek Carr was constantly pulling down the offense. So he's got to take care of the football. So I'm sorry, but I got to roll with Arizona in this one for them to bounce back. But we'll see. Anything can happen. And the Sunday night football game, the Green Bay Packers take on the Bears in a classic NFC North matchup. Pow. So the Bears shocked the world, what a one way or another, as they defeated the 49ers. Meanwhile, the Packers got their ass whooped, like they did last year, against the Minnesota Vikings. So another NFC North division matchup early on for Green Bay. So for the Bears, they're looking to do it once again, this time on a bigger stage against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who are looking to, get some chemistry going, especially now that Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Davante Adams on his side. He's got Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Randall Cobb. Pretty much, he's trying to get something going with his receivers. Because if you watch that Minnesota game, it screamed big dikes in that game. When Davante Adams literally had over 100 yards in that game against the Chargers despite losing, Aaron Rodgers and his entire receiving core had even less than that. Like, even less. So I do like the Packers in this one, but man, they got to establish a rhythm. They got to establish chemistry in this game. I don't care how many yards that Christian Watson has. I don't care how many touchdowns Aaron Rodgers throws to. They got to establish some chemistry in this game against a very beatable Bears team that feels like they're on top of the world, man, after beating Trey Lance and the 49ers on a monsoon. And then we have a interesting Monday night doubleheader early in the season. I'm surprised the NFL scheduled this, but I digress. The first Monday night doubleheader, and there's they start an hour apart from each other. So I don't know why they did that. So I don't get it. But anyway, the Tennessee Titans travel to Western New York to take on the Buffalo Bills. The Titans are coming off a very bad loss. I mean, they didn't get blown out or anything, but they blew a manageable lead. They were up 13-0, and then they were up 7 by a touchdown late in the game, and then they blew it. They couldn't finish the deal against Danny Pennies, Daniel Jones, and the New York Giants. So they lost at home to a very beatable Giants team. Meanwhile, of course, the Bills, they pretty much destroyed the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, mind you. They pretty much picked up where they left off from that AFC divisional game. Josh Allen in that offense and that defense led by Von Miller and Jordan Poyer. They looked dangerous. They looked really dangerous. So they're going to look to continue that dominance that they established in the second half of that game onto the Tennessee Titans. So I'm going with the Bills, obviously, in that one. And then the other half of the Monday night doubleheader on ABC, the Minnesota Vikings traveled to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. So both of these teams entered this game with big wins. For the Eagles, they had a big win, but they had to pretty much phase off the Lions. They had to put the Lions to sleep So kind of a scary win there. But for the Vikings, they got a massive one, a blowout win over the Packers, an upset one where Kirk Cousins and the offense looked pretty dangerous with that up-tempo beat under Kevin O'Connell. So they're looking for another upset after dominating the pack the week before. And then the Eagles are looking to adjust defensively after that fourth quarter scare against the Lions. So I actually am going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I like what they present on offense with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. If they can protect Kirk Cousins a little better than they did in the second half of that game, then this Minnesota team can actually surprise some people. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like what I'm seeing already with Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I am kind of a little disappointed with Devontae Smith, though. But I like the potential. I like the variety, how the offense is spread out with the Vikings offense. So I do think that they're going to put more pressure on the Eagles in this game. So give me Minnesota in this game. So those are my picks for week 2. We've already had one game completed. The Chiefs beat the Chargers. So let me know your picks for week 2 in the comments below. And let me see if we get them wrong or we get some of them right. It's anyone's guess heading into only just the second week of the 2022 NFL season. But anyway, that is it for this video here on Very Cold Lasagna. I am DylanLasagna signing out. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, when we do the recap for week 2, peace out.